The Way of Perfection, Teresa de Avila, chapter 21, tells how important it is to begin the practice of prayer with great determination and not pay attention to the obstacles set up by the devil. Do not be frightened, daughters, by the many things you need to consider in order to begin this divine journey, which is royal road to heaven. You will hear some persons frequently making objections. They are dangerous. The Our Father and Hail Mary are sufficient. This last statement, sisters, I agree with. It is always good to have your prayer on base your prayer on prayers coming from the mouth of the Lord. I have always been fond of the words of the Gospels. I don't say that I'm going to write a commentary on these divine prayers, for I wouldn't dare. I will mention some thoughts on the words of the Our Father. I am not speaking now about whether the prayer should be mental or vocal for everyone. In your case, I say you need both. Therefore, sisters, give up the fears, never pay attention in like matters to the opinion of the crowd. Try to preserve a pure conscience, humility, and contempt for all the worldly things.
This chapter is written so honestly. She has a conversation with her sisters, and she writes all her thoughts, and she's having a conversation. The way she writes this chapter is she's having conversation with her sisters. She wants to be obedient um, to the authorities of the church, which include in her historical context Spanish Inquisition. Many of her favorite books on prayers, even her own autobiography, is censored. She knows the prejudice against women in her time. She understands that many feel mental prayer is dangerous. And to that, she says, well, ask them while reciting Our Father, should I use my mind and be attentive? And if they say yes, then we are using our minds. Therefore, it's a mental prayer. She makes a great point, and then she realizes that the best book, she says, the best source of her spiritual life, this reference for Teresa's spiritual life is the gospel itself. She says she learns the most reading the words of Jesus and his comments and his words. So, and then she realizes that's the safest book. No one can censor that. Learn from the teacher. Learn from the master. She doesn't have the education or theology to write a commentary on Our Father, but what she ends up doing with the rest of the book is to give little insight on this perfect prayer, which you can use, as she says, to contemplate God. If you stop praying, you'll die spiritually. Spiritually, you will die. In this chapter, she presents prayer as a way, a journey to the fount of living water. It's a journey. In her interior castle, prayer is the only way to unlock the castle. The castle of your soul, where the king himself resides. And in this chapter, in The Way of Perfection, she references the prayer as the royal way, because the king used that way. I mean, Jesus himself. That's how he related to his own Father. After his ministry, he would walk away into secluded place and prayer, in conversation with his own Father. So let's learn from the Master. Be determined. Pray with determination. Do not cease praying. Pray always. And do not be afraid of mental prayer. Thank you and God bless.